Hello, everybody. My name is Liz Johnson. I'm just going to go through a little bit of the whooping cough and what would potentially happen if we would have an outbreak here at the hospital. Just to give a little rundown of what whooping cough is, the cause is respiratory illness that's very contagious, caused by a bacteria called Bordetella pertussis. This bacteria this bacteria attacks to the cilia that line part of the upper respiratory system. The bacteria then is releasing toxins which damage the cilia and causes the airway to swell. So with that, there's different ways that the whooping cough can be spread. It can be spread from person to person. It can be spread to another person by coughing or sneezing or spending a lot of time near one another, where you're sharing or breathing in the same space. They say typically it happens a lot at hospitals, also um, where someone else has whooping cough there, and uh, school grounds or elderly facilities, things of that nature. But typically, in the elderly setting, most people have already had some form of Tdap, or what we'll be talking about earlier, where they have a vaccination for it. Uh, they also do give vaccinations for this for any age group. So, some signs and symptoms that you're going to experience: the early symptoms, which are very, very similar to a common cold, runny nose, low grade fever, and then mild occasional cough. And when they're in the later stage of the symptoms, they will be coughing forcefully, and that will be followed by a high pitch whoop sound, which is where they get the whooping cough from, and to the point where this is causing them to vomit because they've had such excessive coughing fits and also extreme exhaustion. There are a few ways to prevent the whooping cough, and that is to get vaccinated. That is really the main important thing people need to do. It's called the DTaP vaccination, which is a combination to protect three diseases: uh, diphtheria, tetanus, and whooping cough. So really, like I said, the vaccination can last to anybody, where it comes to a newborn all the way up to adult, which is really the main focus on, in order to keep an outbreak from happening, is to have that awareness to have people get the DTaP vaccination. Most important, which is really the manpower will be needed there. You'll need to have the resources, the capabilities, and also have the staffing to administer this vaccination. And really, the primary goal in a whooping cough outbreak should be for everybody is to decrease morbidity and mortality. The less people that we have it, the less people that we have that die from it. And so, with that, it is really important for the hospital to notify the appropriate health department if they suspect whooping cough in their community. Through notifying the health department, the CDC gets involved. They monitor trends, and they can possibly note if an outbreak is going to happen by notification and by watching the trends that are happening. And so, dealing with an outbreak will be thorough education, technology, and preventative medicine. It makes everything about the outbreak go smoother. Having up to date technology to test, to educate people, employees, and having enough vaccinations available. So, in order to combat the disease, if the whooping cough happens to strike the hospital with few patients, uh, they need to be treated. We should put them in a contained, isolated area or even individual rooms, to hopefully reduce the spread of the virus. Also, to make sure that all the staff is up to date on the Tdap or have a booster shot if they need one, especially the ones that will be working directly with those patients. And also to make sure that they are fully prepared to initiate several vaccinations and have staff ready and educated and formed on all of this information. And if by chance, there isn't enough beds at the hospital or it gets very out of hand and you need more staffing, hopefully the hospital has enough alliances out there in order to make sure that those patients can be transferred to those facilities and without any type of interruption in their care, and have that basic understanding of everyone trying to help out. So with that, I will close this presentation and thank you for listening.